AZA-accredited zoos and aquariums recognize that all life on Earth is part of one interconnected system. Animals, plants, and humans are all affected by changes in our environment, and one of the biggest challenges we face today is climate change. So you might wonder, what's causing the climate to change? It's simple, really. You probably know that regular carbon dioxide, or CO2, is released into the air when animals exhale, and that it is then absorbed by plants to help them grow, and oceans to help them maintain their life-sustaining chemical balance. But we are also adding CO2 to the air when we burn coal or oil for electricity, or gas to power our cars. We call this rampant CO2 because there is too much of it being produced. Rampant CO2 is building up in our oceans and disrupting nature's balance. Rampant CO2 is also building up in our atmosphere, where it surrounds our planet and acts much like a blanket which traps heat. As we add more and more CO2, it increases the heat-trapping blanket effect, resulting in climate changes that are already affecting us and many species of animals, even those that can be found near you. For example, did you know that the Baltimore Oriole is being impacted by climate change? Milder winters are signaling the orioles to migrate earlier, but food sources and nesting materials along their route are not yet available. This means that their migration, nesting, and hatching patterns no longer coincide with supplies they need to survive. But it's not too late to help. We know that the majority of Americans are concerned about climate change, but many feel overwhelmed by it, or think they're too busy to address it. Fortunately, it doesn't take a lot of effort to protect wildlife if we work together. Did you know that more than 180 million people, like you, visit AZA-accredited zoos and aquariums each year? That's more than the annual attendance of all professional sporting events combined. If all of us start by sharing our concerns with friends, families, and coworkers, we can find ways to turn concern into positive change action. In communities across the country, people are joining together to create systems that make it easier to curb CO2 emissions. For example, we know that more than 1/3 of our CO2 emissions comes from using energy to produce, transport, and dispose of the food we eat and the goods we use. In 2014, the town of Berwyn Heights, Maryland, established a green team who began communicating about community greening efforts through a regularly published page in the Berwyn Heights Bulletin called the Green Bee and through social media. Town residents became successfully engaged in expanding the local school gardens, establishing a composting system, creating a pollinator garden and community vegetable garden, which includes a plot dedicated to a local food bank. This provides residents the opportunity to both grow fresh food and connect with their neighbors. When local people join together to support system-wide change, it becomes fun and easier for everyone to reduce their CO2 emissions. We hope you will connect with those in your social circles to increase the conversation about climate change and find creative ways to protect people and animals that share our home.